I was muted. My mistake. I was muted. Hello, welcome to everyone who is here. Hello. Um, we're gonna give it just a moment for the stream to kind of catch up, so I can quickly do some sound checks and review audio and all that. So bear with me. But welcome. Big applause. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, look at me. I can hear myself. All right, cool. Everything's working out. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. This is the first stream of what I hope to be many. We will see. We'll see how these pan out. Hopefully, as time goes on, the audience gets bigger and bigger. But yeah. Sorry, it's been a while. Like I used to stream quite frequently during the pandemic, and it's been a minute since I streamed. So I'm just kind of like cross-referencing everything, making sure stuff looks good. I really want there to be music down the road as I do these, but music licensing is a complex topic, and so most likely for this first stream, it's going to be kind of bare bones in terms of production quality, but that's okay. But yeah, I'm not expecting a huge audience turnout. I'm hoping that, and I'm pretty certain, as I was looking at YouTube settings and whatnot, that these live streams will be backlogged, and then I can download them and then edit them into shorter formats and post them on like Instagram and TikTok and whatnot. So hopefully we'll grow a bit of an audience, but the plan is to build something. It's been a minute. I don't know where I was going with that. My brain is a little bit of mush. I was working earlier today. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it, right? So, let's take a look at the agenda. So, on today's agenda, I posted all over social media that I want to get back into making content. This will be the first time I regularly make political content. My degree is in journalism and mass communication, and so I feel like I have a degree of experience in speaking on this topic. So we'll see how well I do. And then hopefully down the road, maybe we can expand into maybe some other forms of content creation and whatnot. But here's the agenda. I think we're going to open up the stream by just looking at the news from this week. It is a crazy news cycle in 2026. Chonky, are you playing with... Stop playing with my green screen. My cat is attacking my green screen. It's been a crazy 2026. We are now entering the fourth week of the new year, and there's so much. There's so much to talk about that I can't cover it all. I don't think any one person could unless they committed themselves full time to it, and at the moment I don't. There's certainly too much going on in the new year for even like regular conversation amongst friends or family, most likely. Like you have to like pick and choose your battles at this point. So we'll look at some of the news from the new year, or from this week, that I've kind of heard rumblings about and paid a little bit of attention to. If we get done with some of that, we'll take a look back at just kind of what's happened this year. I was writing a script over the last week, trying to fully encompass like the first week, and then so much happened, and then the second week and so much happened, and yada yada yada. And I was just trying to make this all-encompassing script for the beginning of the year, and it just kind of got to be a little bit too much. So I scrapped it and just said to myself, just get get into regular live streaming. So that's what that is. After kind of talking about all of that, we'll get into a little bit of just some optimism, some stuff to maybe ground yourself and look forward to, and think positive thoughts, because I think it's important to have that. And then if there's anyone in the chat, please feel free to engage. I'd be happy to answer any questions or just kind of engage in dialogue. Yeah, that's the plan for the live stream. I don't see much else happening. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to shrink myself down a little bit while I'm here. Right here. So I'll leave it there. Let me go ahead and take a look to see if there's any chatters. Not at the moment. That's fine. That's fine. It's not necessary. I wrote down a couple of topics that I want to touch on, and we'll just go at them sporadically. So the first big thing, the first topic I want to talk about is just kind of ice. And I had, hold on, as I look for articles and stuff to bring up. Earlier, I think it was last week, I had seen that there was a Supreme Court ruling saying that it had nothing to do with ICE, but it had to do with federal agents having, like, the Supreme Court had decided that in certain special situations or emergencies, federal agents or law enforcement could just make the executive decision on the spot to enter someone's home. So let me look that up. Supreme Court ruling to for law enforcement to enter homes in emergencies. Let's see. Yeah, Case versus Montana. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Yeah, I had been looking at this, and it seemed like a they were relitigating, or not relitigating, but like revisiting this case with Brigham City versus Stewart, and then this Case versus Montana situation came up. In Brigham City versus Stewart, let me zoom in on this a little bit. The court held that the Fourth Amendment allows police officers to enter a home without a warrant if they have an objectively reasonable basis for believing that someone inside needs emergency assistance. In this case, Montana police officers responded to the home of petitioner William Case after his ex-girlfriend called 911 to report that he was threatening suicide and may have shot himself. The officers knocked and yelled into an open window, but got no response. They could see an empty handgun holster and something that looked like a suicide note inside, and they ultimately decided to enter the home to render emergency aid. When one officer approached a bedroom closet in which Case was hiding, Case threw open the closet curtain while holding an object that looked like a gun. The officer shot and injured Case. An ambulance was called to take Case to the hospital. Officers found a handgun next to where Case had stood. Love it. Love cops. Love cops. Case was charged with assaulting a police officer. Case moved to suppress all evidence obtained from the home entry, arguing that the police violated the Fourth Amendment by entering without a warrant. The trial court denied the motion, and the jury found Case guilty, etc., etc. So, yeah, like, this first paragraph is just kind of establishing precedent from a previous legal battle, and then it got revisited in this situation, and that was on I thought this was just decided this like last week in January. As of January, I don't want to use the AI overview, but it's affirming kind of what I've read about. Yeah. Let's see if there's any news outlets talking about this. Case versus Montana. KFYR TV. That's not a KF. I don't know of any stations with a calling card. It just starts with K, I suppose. Yeah, so this might be
yesterday, and now the Supreme Court has heard oral arguments in Case versus Montana.
KFYR? Who's KFYR? KFYR. Bismarck, Minot, Williston, Dickinson, and the surrounding areas of North Dakota. Okay.
It's a case tied to the Fourth Amendment.
And it's a case that could redefine what's needed for police to enter your home without a search warrant. Washington correspondent Katrin Asaf has more.
What's it take for an officer to determine there's an emergency and then enter into your home without a search warrant? For the Supreme Court, it's all about language, reasonable suspicion, objective reasonable belief, or probable cause. It's those three terms that were thrown around in oral arguments Wednesday as Justices weighed Case v. Montana and asked what would allow law enforcement to do their jobs without infringing on Americans' rights. The petitioner in this case says when it comes to the Fourth Amendment's emergency aid exception, the bar should be set at probable cause, a legal term typically used in criminal cases. But the state of Montana says that's too restrictive, and raising the standard would make it harder for law enforcement to act in an emergency. The justices pitched a third term, not as restrictive as probable cause, not as vague as reasonable suspicion, but a standard already used from a previous Supreme Court ruling, objectively reasonable belief.
Is that what it says in was that in the wording here? Objectively reasonable basis for believing. Yeah. And it's this terminology, objectively. Like, the thing about me, myself, having been a former journalist and looking at the word objectively, this is such a philosophically, like, the roots of objectivity have their roots in philosophy and this idea of, like, being able to know anything and everything. You can't. It's impossible. You are one person with two eyes in a space. And so for there to be some kind of objectively reasonable basis for believing anything is near impossible, if you ask me. I, as a journalist, we work towards wanting to find objective truths, but to a degree there needs to be a sense of like grounding yourself in the fact that you are a subjective third party with your own biases and preconceived notions. And I think the same needs to be said for cops and any law enforcement group.
The question is, what's the difference?
What is it where a police officer would not have probable cause but can satisfy the Brigham City standard?
Case's team says a rebrand is needed to clarify the standard and provide more guardrails for officers without a search warrant. But justices seemed concerned over changing the wording.
They need to be able to look through the window and see him with a gun pointed to his head, or they need to see a dead body on the floor. What more did they need?
Are we then inviting a carte blanche to say, don't think of more reasonable way or manner to enter?
Associate Justice Neil M. Gorsuch wonders if this was all just a labeling exercise, but whether the language changes or a new standard is set, a decision should come later this year. In Washington, I'm Katrin Asaf.
Thank you, Katrin. Oh, look, it's me. Where's my... I'm going to leave that there. So, this was, hold on. January, earlier, the 14th, I suppose. Yeah. January 14th. A little over a week ago. And then I think the news came out just either today or yesterday that there was an internal memo. Internal memo for ICE to enter homes. Yeah, this is a developing story. NBC broke it yesterday. CBS talked about it yesterday. We're going to go to NBC. And, like, to discuss... the fact that I have to somehow try to vocalize the foundational principles that the Constitution was written with in mind. I feel like I'm back in like 8th grade government. You know what I mean? And the last year or so has been a testing ground of like relitigating what the country was founded on. And obviously, I think we are hypocrites. I think these aspirational ideas that the country was founded on were nothing but aspirations, truly only meant for the ruling class. None of this has been enforced uniformly or fairly, but they're aspirational, and we should, as a collective population, aspire to have all of this enforced fairly and uniformly. And one of the most foundational principles of the Constitution was being able to be safe and secure in your own domain, in your own home, and that's the 4th Amendment, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken. Let's look it up. The 4th Amendment. Shut up. I don't know how to turn off the AI on Google. 4th Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Thank you. Yeah. And so both Case versus Montana and then this breaking news, I think, are huge concerns for anyone who believes in the Constitution as a aspirational thing. In internal immigration and customs enforcement, let me zoom in for you folks who struggle to see. An internal immigration and customs enforcement document in May shows that ICE told officers and agents they can forcibly enter homes of people subject to deportation without warrant signed by judges. The memo dated May 12th, which reads that it is from ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons, was shared with Senator Richard Blumenthal by 2 whistleblowers. It's 2. I had heard it was only 1. It says ICE agents are allowed to forcibly enter a person's home using an administrative warrant if a judge has issued a final order of removal. Administrative warrants permit officers and agents to make arrests and are different from judicial warrants, which judges or magistrates sign allowing entry into homes. And that's, if you are not in the know of kind of how ICE intimidates folks into one of their intimidation strategies when they arrive at a home to abduct a person is they will flash a warrant, an administrative warrant, which is just like it just permits them to make arrests, but you need a judicial warrant signed by a judge for any law enforcement to actually enter a home. I've just reset essentially what is here, but bear that in mind. If ICE ever arrives at your home and demands to be let inside, you say, "Do you have a judicial warrant signed by a judge?" We say, "Do you have a judicial warrant signed by a judge?" And if the answer is no, then tell them to go away. Oop, oop, oop. My apologies. Okay. Federal blah, 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 pigs. Although the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has not historically relied on administrative warrants alone to arrest aliens subject to final orders of removal in their place of residence, the DHS Office of General Counsel has recently determined that the U.S. Constitution, the Immigration and Nationality Act, and the immigration regulations do not prohibit relying on administrative warrants for this purpose. Cool. They're essentially just like ignoring it. They're like, we disagree. I disagree. Nuh-uh. You can't tell me I can't break into people's homes and abduct them. Nuh-uh. On what grounds? Nuh-uh. Essentially. The memo says agents may arrest and detain aliens in their places of residence who are subject to final orders of removal issued by immigration judges, the Board of Immigration Appeals, or U.S. District or Magistrate judges. We're going to revisit this label. Called form I-205 must knock and announce, and that in announcing, officers and agents must state their identity and purpose. It says the officers and agents... no one, by the way, has... There's not a single ICE agent that has done this. Hello, I'm Officer Clark with ICE. I'm here to arrest and detain aliens. No one does that. Show me a video of an ICE agent doing that. It says that officers and agents must give the people inside time to comply with the order. It also says that they generally should not enter a residence before 6 a.m. or after 10 p.m. and that they should only use a necessary and reasonable amount of force to enter a home. I heard about this. I heard about this.
1:30, daughter-in-law came to the room and said, "Dad, there's ice out there." I said, "What?" "Yeah, there's ice out there." So I said, "Okay, just don't open the door." And then suddenly they just banged that door.
He's smiling about it too. Like it's so unbelievably difficult for him to process that he's laughing it off.
Banging that door. And then my grandson was asleep out there on the couch, and then he heard the banging, and then he woke up. He started crying, and then he went to the room with me and my daughter-in-law. So I locked my bedroom, and then suddenly they break in. They just came to the room and knocked on the door. So I just okay, just open the door, see what they want, and then suddenly there's a gun pointed at us. I like, whoa. And I said,
I can't believe, like, I don't know if any of you have this habit of like having like a nervous laugh. I have a nervous laugh. I've been told that it's very off-putting during like very serious situations, and so I've had to like remind myself like, yo, this situation is a little bit too much for you to be laughing. But it hurts. It hurts for him to be describing his detainment by ICE and just laughing it off. Like, look at this. He's in shorts with a blanket
About
covering him,
one day,
being detained in the ice cold. I'm a desert rat. I've lived in Phoenix my whole life. I can only imagine what this is like.
and then they go, you come out here. I go, okay, and then I came out there with my hand up, and then they said put my hand on my back, so I did, and then suddenly they just handcuffed me. They didn't ask for my ID or anything until after they handcuffed me, and then they asked me, do I have my ID? I go, yeah, is in the room. Is that?
What was that?
ID? I go, yeah.
I'm just kind of looking at the background of folks here.
Is in the room. And then my daughter-in-law, she tried to get my ID, but they didn't want to see it no more. Yeah, they just took me out there with no clothes on, and then just covered with my grandson's blanket. So yeah, they just took me out there. Yeah, yesterday was. I don't feel like it's freedom.
I don't feel like it's freedom. God, and he's laughing it off. I do want to eventually talk about. I've been to myself a community ICE training for the community here in Phoenix, and I've seen a lot of kind of what's the word? Discussion, dialogue, just online discourse about how there are so many folks at ICE raids who are taking videos from different angles about like of these events. I know that opinions are heated. Like the times that we live in right now are very, very scary for a lot of hardworking and just Americans who aren't used to the escalation that is happening within the United States. Rightfully so. I think that's led to a lot of frustration and rising tensions and anger in people. And there's a big demand, not demand, but I'm starting to see people throwing out more dangerous language about responding to ICE, and I sympathize with that. Don't get me wrong; I fully sympathize with the idea of learning self-defense and arming yourself against folks who aren't identifying themselves, are hiding their identities for the most part, and abducting our neighbors and friends and whatnot. And so there's a lot of criticism being directed at citizens who are on the sidelines of these abductions and using their phones to record. What I would say is that having gone to a ICE training event for the community here in Phoenix, the folks there made a really good point about how having so many different angles for Renee Nicole Good's murder will lead to her family being able to successfully litigate Renee Nicole Good's case, because there was so many different angles of the events that happened. There were, I want to say, 3 on the ground from legal observers, just like these folks, and then even Renee Nicole Good's murderer, for some reason, decided to record, and that will be self-incriminating in court. Now, I don't know what the legal system is going to be looking like over the next several months, several weeks, years, maybe. I fully can understand and appreciate both sides of this discussion. It's terrifying times, but just because one person themselves isn't willing to defend themselves and their neighbors against ICE doesn't mean if you have that opinion, you're not allowed to. The Second Amendment exists for a reason. And I'll leave my thoughts there. Unfortunately, I haven't been doing this long enough for me to kind of be bolder with my the way I speak, and hopefully as time progresses and I kind of do this commentary, I'll get better at it, but I'll leave it there for now. Yeah, terrifying stuff. There should absolutely be no justification for ICE. In my opinion, there is no justification for law enforcement or for federal agents to break into the homes of American citizens. Due process is a funny thing to read right here. What does this say? Sent a statement that immigrants in the country illegally who are served administrative warrants, which are removal or deportation warrants, have had full due process and a final order of removal from an immigration judge. That is not due process. That, like, a letter in the mail does not mean that ICE, like, this is not a free pass for ICE to behave in the manner that it has over the last several weeks. Probable cause. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into the weeds of this since there's a lot more to discuss. I kind of want to move on to the next topic I want to talk about, which is the fact that ICE agents have grabbed children. Abduct children. Because this was also, I think, something I had been seeing over the last few days. This story of a 5-year-old. We'll go to The Guardian. I do not support CBS News. I used to be employed by CBS News. Oh, not CBS News, but like I was employed by an affiliate of CBS News, rather. And it looks like they've gone down the toilet since I left. School district says, this I've heard of. That's not new to me, that their ICE agents were holding on to children as bait to have their family come outside. Let's take a look at it. School district officials in Columbia Heights, Minnesota say their sense of security is shaken and their hearts shattered after 4 students from the district were recently taken by officers with immigration and customs enforcement. Just call it ICE. Oh, I said I don't support CBS, and then I clicked on the CBS link. Jesus. Yeah, I saw this image. ICE detains 5-year-old Minnesota boy arriving home. Oh, his name's Liam. And sent to Texas? From Minnesota to Texas? It's important to me, even as a former journalist, to not lose my my heart when covering stuff like this. And it was important to me to take a close look at him. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, detained a 5-year-old Minnesota boy on Tuesday as he returned home from school and transported him and his father to a Texas detention center, according to school officials. He's 5. A preschooler. He's not even in kindergarten. My cousin has a... While in their driveway, the superintendent of the school district in Columbia Heights said at a press conference on Wednesday, Liam, who had recently turned 5, is one of 4 children in the school district who have been detained. There have been 4 kids in this school district alone? By federal... Ah! Son of a bitch. That's crazy. This isn't even some outlier. He's one of 4 who've been detained by federal immigration agents. I didn't hear about this. I thought he was a special case. It's like, this is crazy. No. And it's not just the state. They're not... He's not just one of 4 children in the state who has been detained. He's one of 4 in the fucking school district. Ooh! Oh, sweet boy. I'm so sorry. In the school district. That has me... Okay. We're moving on. Liam and his father had just arrived home when they were detained. When she arrived, the superintendent, she said that the father's car was still running and the father and son had already been apprehended. They left the car on. You can empty your tank of gas. An agent had taken Liam out of the car, led the boy to his front door. What does that mean? Taken him out of the car, led the boy to his front door, and directed him to knock on the door, asking to be let in. Ask to be let in. Just in case we need anyone else. Another adult living in the home was outside during the encounter and pleaded to take care of Liam so the boy could avoid detention, but was denied. Liam's older brother, a middle schooler, came home 20 minutes later to find his father and brother missing. That's like 12 or 13, right? 2 school principals from the district also arrived at the home to offer support. Mark I'm not going to pronounce that. An attorney representing the family said the family had an active asylum case and shared paperwork showing the father and son had arrived to the U.S. at a port of entry, meaning an official crossing point. seeking asylum, by the way, is a thing that you have to physically do. You can't like mail a request seeking asylum. You have to physically enter the country to request asylum before being granted it. So they had... I don't think you can get into the country. Like, I don't think you can request asylum like through airports. Let's see if I'm correct on that. I might be ignorant about that. Request asylum. I can't spell. At airport. Involves a customs. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe you can. Apply for asylum with a judge. Blah, 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 blah. Must be physically present in the United States or a port of entry. Yeah, maybe you can. Maybe you can fly in. But, anyways. Blah, 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 blah. The family did everything they were supposed to in accordance with how the rules have been set out. They did not come here illegally. They are not criminals. He said there was no order of deportation against them, and he believes the father and son have remained together in detention. Well, fingers crossed that is the case. That they have remained together. I can only shake at the thought. I mean, we've heard about it before. Was it during the Obama administration where they had like kids in cages? What's the kids in cages? What period of time is that from? I feel like that's Obama. Kids in cages. Practice blah 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 blah. I hate the fact that I now rely on the AI overview too much. Was it Trump? I guess it was Trump. All right, well. What was Obama's... Because he had some immigration controversies as well. I'm not going to look it up. It's not relevant to right now. I'll revisit that later. The point I'm getting at is, like, you can only imagine that they've got him with a bunch of other kids in their own ICE facility. Which is worse? You tell me. We'll take a poll right now. Which is worse? For ICE to have their own dedicated facility for children, or for the children to be intermingling with all the adults that are also getting deported? I don't know which is worse. I'm being facetious. Separating kids from their parents is worse. It's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. Okay. School officials released 2 photos of the encounter. Oh, so this is just, yeah, ICE. This is the guy telling him, hey, knock on the door. With a man holding onto his backpack. You can't tell me that this child is going to be classified as a violent criminal. Tricia McLaughlin, Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary, said in a statement on Wednesday night that ICE was conducting we're conducting a targeted operation. Hold on. I have a sound effect for this. Where is it? Hey, guys. We're conducting a targeted operation. We need to arrest the boy and his father. The illegal aliens. Hold on. Hey, guys. We gotta get to the house. We gotta arrest the 5-year-old. Over. Did you copy? Hey, do you copy? We gotta arrest the 5-year-old. Ugh. Okay. Dial it back. ICE did not target a child. The suspect fled on foot, abandoning his child. Hold on. We are conducting an operation to arrest illegal aliens. ICE did not target a child. Over. The suspect fled on foot, abandoning his child. Over. For the child's safety, one of our ICE officers remained with the child while the other officers apprehended the suspect. Over. I'm done. Sorry. Parents are asked if they want to be removed with their children, or ICE will place the children with a safe person the parent designates. False. False. I find that hard to believe. I don't know. School district provided a statement from Liam's teacher. Dude, imagine getting a visit from... Is he here by himself? Imagine being a preschool teacher. Your day is full of coloring, crafts, snacks, stale Teddy Grahams, 1, 2, 3s, ABCs, all that. And who comes in to tell you? Who provided the statement to the teacher? The principal? And you hear this. That kid, that cute kid. Hold on. We're going to come back to this. Every day, you see him enter your classroom. Chiquito. Chiquito comes to your classroom every day for coloring, crafts, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. Ugh. And you get told that this motherfucker, this dude, just took him. Liam is a bright young student. He is so kind and loving, and his classmates miss him. He comes into class every day and just brightens the room. All I want is for him to be back here and safe. Yeah! The detention of a young child will have ripple effects. Once his classmates learn the government took him away, I'm not qualified to talk about how much damage that is going to cause. It's not just the family, it's the entire community and all of those kids who are now going to be facing secondary trauma. I appreciate like your degree of like self-restraint. I think particularly right now, all of us feel insanely ignorant. I think everyone feels insanely ignorant right now because it's like I have a 9 to 5. I go in every day. I do my thing. I pack the boxes, if that's what you do. I'm a teacher. I'm a preschool teacher. Every day they come in. We do the ABCs. We do the 1, 2, 3s. That's my job. Whatever your job is, it's like that's my 9 to 5. And then I go home and I play video games, or I go home and I watch Netflix. I'm tapped out. The American public at large is happily ignorant of everything that happens in the outside world. That is what this country was founded on. We live on the placid island of ignorance, and we're content with it. And so when shit like this starts happening, we've been happily ignorant for the last 30 years. And so when shit like this happens, we have to say, I'm not qualified to talk about how much damage this is going to cause. No, none of us are qualified to talk about it. That's the whole point of America. However, crazy shit is happening. So, because of that, it's hitting you in the fucking chest, in the heartstrings. Speak to it. It's crazy. Look at this. Look at this. Look at him. No, none of us are qualified to talk about this. I feel like no one on the fucking planet is prepared or trained on this. We're all ignorant in this moment. It's okay. Speak your mind. It's fucking crazy. Pobrecito. Also on Tuesday, a 17-year-old Columbia Heights student was taken by armed and masked agents without parents present. That student was removed from their car. I heard about this. Did I? Or was I reading something else? I thought I heard about 2 siblings, one being like 16 and one being 15. In another case on the 14th, ICE agents pushed their way into an apartment and detained a 17-year-old high school girl and her mother. In a fourth case, on January 6th, a 10-year-old fourth-grade student was allegedly taken by ICE on her way to elementary school with her mother. The superintendent said the 10-year-old called her father during the arrests and said that ICE agents would bring her to school. But when the father arrived at the school, he discovered both his daughter and wife had been taken. They were sent to Texas. Again, Texas sure do be having a lot of fucking detention centers from the sound of it. Texas sure do be having a bunch of camps from the sound of it. Stenvik reported that as school officials were preparing for the press conference on Wednesday afternoon, an ICE vehicle drove on the property of the district's high school and were told by administrators to leave. Please leave. ICE agents have been roaming our neighborhoods, circling our schools, following our buses, coming into our parking lots, and taking our kids. DHS did not respond to inquiries about other arrests and the report of ICE's arrival on campus. No comment. No comment. In an interview after the press conference, the superintendent said the arrests and looming presence of ICE had taken an enormous toll on students, parents, and school staff. Yes, understandably. Our children are traumatized. The sense of safety in our community and around our schools is shaken. I can speak on behalf of all school staff when I say our hearts are shattered. After our fourth student was taken yesterday, I just thought someone has to hear the story. They're taking children. Yeah, after the fourth? I hope you said shit the first time, and the second time, and the third time. All respect. I know it's not your fault, but this is fucking crazy. School officials said some families were choosing to stay home out of fear of ICE. Yeah. Well, I mean, hasn't Minneapolis been, like, haven't the schools been locked down for a minute? Hold on. Minneapolis schools. School closings for Friday due to extreme cold. That's not. Oh, thanks, Fox. Thanks, Fox. It's too cold. They're closing because it's cold. Closings and delays. It sounds like it is actually all related to the weather. I mean, wasn't there a huge weather front going to be hitting the East Coast sometime? Forgot about that. Anyways. Our role is to educate children during the school day, but now we're trying to help people navigate this legal system. Our main priority is to keep children safe. They're children. They are not violent criminals. They are little kids. They're violent! They're violent! The 5-year-old has crayons! He's gonna throw them at you! And you need to pull you need to pull your weapon on him! I don't know weapon terminology. I'm trying to do this impression of it's insane. I feel insane. I feel like I have to act it up a little bit to make sense of the insanity. Thank you at this unsettling time. We hope you appreciated this article. Thank you. I really appreciate that, The Guardian. No, I'm not reading the rest of that. It sounds like a pitch for an advertisement and for funding. Anyways, here. KARE.
Tonight, the Columbia Heights School District says 4 of their students have been detained by ICE agents over the past few weeks.
I didn't hear that part. I did not hear that part when all of this was breaking. It's the fact that it's 4 of our students in our school district.
That includes this.
I went to a small school district. You know what I mean? I was a student at a very small school district. There were 3 schools total, 1 high school, 2 elementary schools. I knew everybody in the district. It's like they got Tom, they got Julia, they got Sarah, they got Billy. They got Billy! Sorry, my apologies.
5-year-old boy, Liam Ramos, who school officials say was taken into custody with his father on his way home from school yesterday. Gordon Severson joins us now with more details. Gordon.
Yeah, this all happened as Liam and his father were driving home from preschool. According
Yeah, thank you. Here, I'm skipping your opening.
over the last 2 weeks. Inside Valley View Elementary in Columbia Heights, there's a preschool classroom filled with 4- and 5-year-olds who may soon wonder what happened to one of their classmates.
What happened to him? Oh, you know what? There was a video that was making the rounds on Twitter where, like, there were students bullying a Latino kid. They were bullying him. They're like, you're going to get picked up by ICE. And the kid had a fucking panic attack. Rightfully so. Because, like, it's changing the dialogue for children. Of, like, how they have interpersonal relationships. And we are normalizing you're going to get fucking picked up by the Gestapo. And you're going to be taken away. This is a very invigorating stream. No one is watching. That's okay. We will build the audience. We will build.
It's Liam Ramos.
He's a bright young student, and he's so kind.
Jesus. Is this his teacher?
Ella Sullivan is Liam's.
It is. That's his teacher. She's younger than I am
Ramos.
from the looks
He's a
of it.
bright young.
No judgment, but like, imagine. I can only speculate at how old this woman is, but imagine you're 25. You went to school. You got your degree in education. You are now either starting to enter into the classroom or freshly entering the classroom, and you're like, I'm on a mission. This industry is not going to pay me money, but I will gain value from what I do in service of the community. A higher calling is calling me to serve my community and the young people. So you become a preschool student. Jesus. Like, it's not this woman. It wasn't her kids that were taken away. It was this poor young girl's. I don't know what I'm doing. It's terrible. It'd be terrible, no matter the situation. Because imagine if it was you. You've been doing this for, I'm not going to speculate at her age, but a while. You've been teaching for a while. You've never seen this. It's unprecedented.
Young student, and he's so kind.
Ella Sullivan is Liam's preschool teacher. She says her students haven't asked about Liam yet, but they will. And she and other teachers wonder how they...
It's preschool! He hasn't even written out his own name yet. They printed it for him.
Can possibly answer their questions.
All I want is for him to be safe and back here.
The family's lawyer says Liam is likely being held with his father at a detention facility.
I can't find the words to describe how rancid, deplorable this image is.
In Texas.
We have clients that once they're picked up, they're whisked away to the airport literally within hours.
School officials say Liam is one of 4 students who have been detained by ICE agents over the last...
Look at this guy. Let me move out of the way. Look at this fucker's nasty ass red demon tinted hand. I hope he got bit right here. Whatever that red mark is, I hope it's a bite. If you bit him, Liam, keep it up. Fucking take it. Take his fucking hands.
2 weeks, including another student who was also detained on Tuesday.
On the way to school, a 17-year-old high school student, a minor, was taken by armed, masked agents. Alone. No parents were present.
Superintendent Zena Stenvik says the other 2 students include another 17-year-old and her mother, who were detained by ICE last week, and a 10-year-old girl who was also detained with her mother on their way to school 2 weeks ago.
And by the end of the school day, They were already in a detention center in Texas, and they are still there.
He's terrified.
Pastor Sergio Amezcua is also working with Liam's family. He says many in the Latino community are deeply concerned about children being taken by federal agents.
Let Child Protection Services take care of them while...
God damn, videographer. Oh, that was a punch-in? That is a nasty punch-in. Sorry. As a former news videographer myself, this cut was disgusting.
Take care of them while...
They didn't have like a side camera, so and he didn't bother zooming in either. Like the videographer did not at any point during the interview, like before or after they were setting up, didn't like get a close-up on him. So they just did a disgusting... Look at the percentage. Sorry, I'm gonna go off a little bit. So... Here, like I'm occupying almost about the same amount of space that he is on camera, and you could probably say that this ratio of pixels accounts for like a fifth, a sixth of the camera. It's 1920 by 1080 pixels. So to cut that number in half, and then that's the
legal bottle.
Amezcua says many in the...
That is the fidelity that I am seeing right here. Sorry. It set me off. Back to what you were saying.
About children being taken by federal agents.
Let Child Protection Service...
It's this poor... last thing. It is this poor job that the videographer did. I got distracted by his shitty editing. And so now I've missed what this guy said.
Just take care of them while... the parents would battle the legal battle.
Amezcua says many in the community are now afraid to leave their homes. His church has now received food delivery requests from more than 27,000 families who are scared to go to the grocery store.
I take that back. That insult I just made. I will criticize journalists. They're doing God's work. At this period in time, we need to appreciate the journalists who are putting in the hard work to cover how dog shit ICE is. So I rescind my former insult for his videography job. I rescind it. I forgive you. Oh, hold on. Technical difficulties. Okay.
ICE agents have been roaming our neighborhoods, circling our schools, following our buses, coming into our parking lots and taking our children. And our hearts are shattered.
Weirdo behavior. Weirdo behavior. Why have you specifically... And again, it's the fourth time this has happened.
ICE agents have been roaming our neighborhoods, circling our schools.
Why the fuck are you circling the schools? It's kids and white women teaching in Minnesota. You're not gonna find illegals. Heavily quote marks there. You're not gonna find migrants at the fucking preschool. Like, I'm in Phoenix. Everyone here is Latino. I'm Latino. You know, like, here, I could understand it. Minnesota? There's no hangout spots? You gotta just go to, like, the preschool? Sorry. Okay, moving on. I don't have an audience yet. So once I get an audience, you'll kind of understand what I'm saying. I'm digging myself into a hole. We're moving on.
Following our buses,
Weirdo
coming
behavior.
into our parking lots and taking our children. And our hearts are shattered.
When it comes to Liam and his family, their lawyer says they have been following the law as they are seeking asylum to become legal U.S. citizens. Their lawyer is now working to find a way to bring Liam back home to Columbia Heights so he can stay with his remaining family members and go back to school.
Gordon, do we have any idea why they were targeted or why the other students were targeted? Do we know anything about, was it legal status? Was it criminal history?
Well, the school district...
All right, anyways. Disgusting. 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 You don't understand. The 5-year-old, they're brown, I can't do a Trump impression. I'm so sorry. Take it back. So yeah, that's that one. I feel like we could keep talking about so much related to ICE and how absolutely abhorrent they are. I don't want to dogpile too much onto just on ICE, because I feel like that's what everyone online is doing. It makes sense. We're going to move on. I do kind of want to keep this within the realm of commentary and criticism, and not just like my enraged reaction. However, and let's bring me up here for a second. I will say, as a former journalist, as someone who has worked in a mainstream news newsroom, this is the kind of reaction, the reaction I'm having right now is what every journalist, every editor, every photographer, for the most part, except for the ones like who have no souls, this is how everyone is reacting. You can think of your favorite news anchor, what have you, on-air personality. The reaction I'm having, they're looking at this breaking news as they're seeing it and being like, this is fucking crazy. What are we doing? America has been falling apart at the seams for months. For well over a year. I would argue even further back. But we were playing like games about like decorum and bullshit like that when Biden was in office. But for the most part, we've all been like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Okay. Anyways. Get back down there. Moving on. New topic. We did that one. Let's watch Donnie. Let's watch the good old Donnie going crazy. We're going to move on from ICE. I do want to say, I guess last thing. No, I'll bring it up. Renee Nicole Good, who was killed by ICE. The whole event that kind of set everything into motion when it comes to despising ICE was her murder. But let's talk briefly, if we can, just about her pulse. Here, what is this? Hindustan Times? Who's the Hindustan? I feel like this is... I'm gonna like just highlight the oh my god, terrible time for me to have a brain fart. The headline. Good god. Renee Good still had a pulse after being shot by ICE agent. Reveals bombshell report. I'm not gonna read from this outlet because I don't know who they are. Oh, excuse me. Alive after shooting. We'll go to the Guardian again. Stop. Go away. Renee Good was shot 3 times. Autopsy into Minneapolis ICE killing finds. Yes, I mean, we fucking saw that. I don't care about that. Where's the part about her potentially having a pulse? Oh, I didn't know these details. She was shot in her forearm, her breast, okay, and head. You could have said chest, but I guess this signifies that like it didn't go through her chest, but rather grazed her on the front. I didn't need that detail. And in the head. The independent post-mortem was commissioned by lawyers. Lawyers? I don't know what that means. Findings were released late on Wednesday. What's today? Thursday. Yeah, so it was yesterday. Late last night. The autopsy described as preliminary found 3 clear gunshot wounds on the body, 2 of which were not immediately life-threatening. So her arm and her breast. Another entered the body through her right breast, but missed major organs. Okay, so it did penetrate. You could have just said chest, but whatever. Missed major organs. This guy was a shit shot, if that's the case. I was given the impression she was shot 3 times through the head. 1, 2, 3. Fucking like that. Because he's a gang thug. Third shot struck her on the left side of her head near her temple and exited on the right side of her head. Yeah, so through. Sorry for the demonstration. I'm a visual. Anyways. Newspaper said there was also a graze wound. Consistent with a firearm injury, but with no penetration. A 4th? I don't know what that means. 2 apparent gunshot wounds. Possibly. I want to hear about her potentially having a pulse. The Guardian doesn't bring it up. What about the 8 minutes? Can I? No, this doesn't mention it. I need the shit about her being potentially still alive after. Reddit saying it was for nearly 20 minutes. 8 minutes. Let's fucking do that. Let's make it explicit, I guess. APT? Who's APT? Hold on. I feel like I recognize APT. Who's APT? Oh, what the? That's the song by Bruno. What? Jesus, whatever. Why was I hearing so much about this and then like? Oh, let me move myself for a second. Now I'm not seeing anything online. Who covered this? 12 hours ago, as people... The Economic Times? How's the Economic Times talking about it? Alright, whatever. We'll settle with the Economic Times. I swear, like, I thought maybe even... Signs of life detected minutes after the shooting, according to NPR's analysis. Well, then I want NPR's analysis. Renee Nicole Good. NPR News. This is January 8th. I don't want January 8th. I want today or yesterday. This is the hard part about news. Oh, God. Jesus. Sorry about that picture. This is the hard part about news gathering. It's like, okay, I heard this. Where did I hear this? Oh, I don't remember. And I will fully admit, I've fallen to misinformation on a time or two. I feel like we all have. But part of the learning process and the validation process is who reported on this? Was it credible? Where did they get their information on? Was that credible? And we just go through it. I do not... Hold on. NPR's analysis, good... Minnesota Public Radio. Oh. Disclosed by Minnesota Public Radio News. based on a comprehensive review of clips, 911 calls, fire department records, and dispatch logs. Okay, so they sourced it. NPR being Minnesota Public Radio. Minnesota Public Radio. But this is all like old. Pulse. 8 minutes. Here we go. Why didn't I hear about this till like today? Yeah, so from the video, if you recall the video, there was a man who was asking if he could check her for a pulse. Because even if there isn't a pulse, you could potentially not find a pulse, but like resuscitate them, establish some kind of... No, sorry. If there is no pulse, you can artificially create one through CPR, and you will give that person who is fighting for their life enough time to like have blood flowing through their body until emergency responders arrive to attempt to resuscitate the person. That is the whole point of CPR. If there is a pulse, then you do emergency breathing, I believe. Like the whole point is like keep this person alive until emergency responders arrive to resuscitate them. So him asking this question is someone that's medically trained pronouncing this woman dead. He's making like an argument through that line of questioning, like if there isn't, we could save her life. Them on camera refusing to allow him to check for a pulse and medically pronounce her dead is negligence. If you ask me, I'm not a legal expert, but I am someone who was trained to in first aid and CPR and whatnot when I was younger. So that's my perspective. An analysis also shows that federal immigration officials waited nearly 3 minutes to contact emergency services in Minneapolis following the shooting. Having received calls from bystanders at that point, police, ambulances, and fire crews were on their way but had difficulty reaching the scene before the street was filled with vehicles, many belonging to ICE. I'm just appalled by the lack of immediate first aid and initial resuscitation attempts, said Adam Armbruster, family medicine doctor who also works in the emergency room at Sleepy Eye Medical Center in southern Minnesota. That's the part that is, I would say, most inadequate. It's blatant negligence. Like, think for a moment how even police officers are very likely trained in basic first aid and CPR. They have been trained how to save someone's life. Even if, like, think of your most crude understanding, anyone's most crude understanding of how policemen work. They shoot the bad guys. You a bad guy? Okay, cool. What happens after that? What happens after you've killed the bad guys? Were there hostages in your crude understanding of what a policeman's job is? Was someone hurt? Was someone knocked unconscious? You have to address that after you kill the bad guys. And so because of that, you most likely, your job requires you to understand basic first aid and CPR. Even if you yourself are not a medic, as a police officer, you know the medical guys will get here eventually to respond to the victims or whatever. Okay? Like The story doesn't end like in the movies. You killed the bad guy. Wow, everyone's safe and better and happy and living happy lives. Everyone that was killed suddenly stood up and walked away because the hero succeeded. Yeah! No! No! Even cops are trained in first aid and CPR. I don't even have to look it up. I'm not going to. I will ignorantly make this claim right here. And so for federal agents to like say to a person claiming to be a physician, no, you can't check the body for a pulse. It's negligence. Anyone who a police officer who has similar responsibilities or whatever to a federal agent would know. Anyways, fuck. Macklin Good suffered bullet wounds in her chest, arm, and possibly her head following the shooting. A report from the... What is this possibly? It happened. Possibly. Those injuries may have been impossible to survive, but ICE's use of force policy requires agents to obtain medical assistance as soon as practical. Practical. And with grievous injuries like Macklin Good's, time is of the essence. Doctors and paramedics said, yeah, of course it is. Sorry, I'm now like distracted by this image. Oop. All ICE candidates are subject to months of rigorous training. What did you guys do? And selection at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, where they are trained in everything from de-escalation tactics, driving, firearms, and medical training, wrote Tricia McLaughlin, the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, in response to an email seeking comment. We do pray for the deceased. We pray. And as well as for our officer and all affected in this situation. We pray for everybody. We pray for them. We pray for us. We pray for everybody. We're praying. It's okay. We prayed. We're praying. God bless. Like fucking... like, well, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to do? We prayed. McLaughlin defended the ICE agent's response, saying Macklin Good didn't have a pulse. Medical professionals said if that were true, performing CPR would have been the next appropriate step. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, thank you for the explanation on what CPR does. Pull loss of pulse, if possible. That would mean removing... When firefighters finally reached Macklin Good more than 6 minutes after the shooting, she wasn't breathing, but they reported she did still have a pulse, albeit thready and irregular. The thing is, and it's been a while since I was trained in CPR and first aid response, but like you monitor that pulse. You just keep monitoring the pulse and hope the ambulance gets there as quick as possible. Hold on. Let's look it up. Guys, let's learn a little bit about CPR. Weak, irregular pulse. What to do? Stop AI. Heart arrhythmia. No. Okay. Here, unconscious. Let's add unconscious to the mix. Unconscious. What to do? Is in life-threatening critical condition. Call 911. If they're not breathing, normally begin CPR. Cannot do rescue breaths. Perform hands-only CPR, pushing fast and hard in the center of the chest. And use an automated AED if available. Yeah. Any irregular pulse should be... The first response should be with an AED. I do remember that part. They're not deceased, and to walk away from an individual at that point is... Let me clarify why he's saying it's mind-boggling. It's not just mind-boggling, it's negligence. if you are trained in first responding in any capacity, to walk away from a person who is presumed dead but not formally medically pronounced dead, and you have the training to respond to it, that's negligence. It's not just mind-boggling. It is maliciously negligent. And I'm not saying that as like a legal prescription. I am not a legal representative. I'm just a former journalist with opinions and a big heart. Yeah. Okay. Goodness. Moving on. I want to see Donald Trump be a fool for a little bit, and then I think we'll wrap it up for the night. We've been going for a good minute now. Nearly like 2 hours or something. Where's my time? Yeah. We've been going for an hour and a half. Let's see. What was it? Was it Donald Trump? Donald Trump. Greenland. Greenland. Let's just do Donald Trump. I won't respond to that. Jack Smith was testifying earlier today. I heard about it. I think it's neat. I don't think anything myself will come of it. Like unless Congress actively makes an effort to impeach or do anything with this, I feel like it's a nothing burger. Like another person is talking shit about Donald Trump. Cool. Not needed right now in Minneapolis. Interesting. The White House explains the bruise on Trump's hand. Thanks, Fox. The Board of Peace, not the fucking Board of Peace. This is not what I wanted. I wanted the, like, all of this. All of it is insane news. Let me move myself out of the way. I don't know why Google has like this huge backdrop of like empty space over here. This in particular is crazy. The fact that is this the Board of Peace? Oh, I didn't even know who was. I didn't know everyone that was actually on it. And for those of you who don't know, the Board of Peace is essentially like Donald Trump being like, I'm really upset with the United Nations. I think we should make a new team. New team. Forget everyone else. No United Nations. Forget it. Me and my friends. Who did he pick? The president of Kazakhstan, Kosovo, Pakistan. More cool. Pakistan, apparently. Paraguay. Qatar. Saudi Arabia. Foreign minister. I was like, that's not Salman. Turkey. The United Arab Emirates. Uzbekistan. Mongolia. Oh, leaning the wrong way. God damn it. Move myself. Jordan. Bahrain. Morocco. Argentina. Armenia. And Azerbaijan? Both of them? I thought these guys disliked each other. I will fully admit, I'm very ignorant on the current status of Armenia and Azerbaijan. I know they have some history, but I'm pretty ignorant on it. And I do need to educate myself on it a little bit more. Bulgaria, Hungary, Indonesia. Where's Netanyahu? I thought Netanyahu was on this thing. And that's the thing. Like that was my preconceived notions. Like I heard about this because Netanyahu was apparently like on this, and it's labeled the Board of Peace. So like Is it? I don't think so. Putin was shit talking it. Like, yeah, I'll join your board of peace when Palestine is free. Based for Putin, weirdly. A rare moment of correctedness. But excuse me. Oh, yeah, here. Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu is also on board, even though he has fumed at the inclusion of Turkish and Qatari officials on the Gaza executive board and faces an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court. Is that why he didn't arrive? Because there's a warrant out for his arrest? There we go. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm moving on. Like this is another, like, if this develops into anything else, it will be like the, is it the, I'm trying to make a parallel to World War II where it's like the Allies versus the Axis of Evil or whatever. Like Marvel Civil War teams. You know what I'm getting at. Like they're fucking they're picking teams. The ultimate confrontation will be between Iron Man and Captain America, the UN and the Board of Peace. That's what this reads as to me. Not genuinely, but like it's fucking stupid. But I want to hear him. I want to hear Trump. What were you saying earlier today? What's that image of him that was circulating where he's like, look, you know what I mean? That happened earlier today. Yeah, of course it's not going to be here. It just says Donald Trump. Donald Trump, here. Flabbergasted. I need context. Flabbergasted. Describes stunned reactions at Donald Trump's Wall Street Journal.
President Trump just wrapped up an hour-long, very blistering speech to a packed audience here in which he reasserted his intentions of taking Greenland, the Arctic territory. He said,
I knew it had to do with Greenland. That's like the only thing I was aware of.
It's vital to U.S. national security purposes.
That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. And all we're asking for is to get Greenland, including right, title, and ownership, because you need the ownership to defend it.
The crowd was...
Greenland! Look how painful his face is. Hold on, where is it? When he says Greenland. Greenland.
Including right, title, and ownership, because you need the ownership to defend it.
The crowd was hanging on every word, I'd say. A lot of stunned...
Jesus, he's like putting it lightly. He works with Wall Street Journal. Alex Leary. He's putting it so lightly. He's like, we were all buttholes clenched, hands fucking white on the fucking seats. Ugh!
A lot of stunned faces as people absorbed just how serious Trump appears to be about this goal. I was sort of in the back of the room with the press.
And this is what I'm getting at. Like, hold on. Let's go back a little bit.
I'd say a lot of stunned faces.
He's at a loss for words. I said this earlier. Us journalists, like, we get this firsthand from the primary source. He's right there saying this crazy shit, and we have to be there like, oh, interesting, fascinating, huh? Our viewers will certainly appreciate this. This is breaking news. We gotta get to the presses. Press them hot, and publish it. No, it's like what the in our minds is like what the fuck? What the fuck?
As people absorbed just how serious Trump.
And he's just like, hold on, let me get up next to him. Here, let me right next to you, buddy. You and me, okay?
A lot of stunned a lot of stunned faces as people absorbed just how serious Trump appears to be about this goal. I was sort of in the back about this goal.
Okay, and Alex, yeah, where were you during this whole entire discussion?
I was sort of in the back of the room with the press corps, and some gentlemen were right in front of me, and they kind of looked at each other at one point and sort of laughed nervously.
It's not the nervous laugh.
One man shook his head. So a lot of disbelief here. Certainly Trump had his supporters in the room as well, but overall I describe it as one of sort of stunned. This is going to be debated for days and months and weeks to come. Trump has one more day here. A lot of nervous allies of the U.S., but Trump accomplished what he wanted to do, which is to come in, make a very bold statement, rattle some cages, and reassert what he thinks is the U.S. right to Greenland. But his support.
All right, well, thank you so much, Alex, for that invigorating report. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And that was Alex out in the field. And we're gonna toss it to a commercial break, and we'll be right back. What the fuck? What the fuck? What do you mean? He said that? That's their reaction. That's their live reaction. That every journalist. Okay. I will admit, because I've been outside of the journalism industry for a while, because I'm not in it, I get to have this authentic reaction. It's like, okay, thank you, Alex, Wall Street Journal, much appreciated. I need more of him though. So, Trump on Greenland today at the friggin' World Economic Forum. I don't need like the whole speech. I just want like highlights. World Economic Forum in Davos.
And we're going to talk more about everything that the president said with our White House correspondent, Fraser Jackson. Fraser, tell us then, what are your main takeaways from that speech?
I don't want some correspondent talking about this. I want to hear him. I want to hear the Don. Where is he? Fireside chat? Oh, it's Fox.
AAA Auto Insurance is...
Oh, shut up. It sounds like this is Fox. Hold on. Trump World Economic Forum. This is just a summary. Okay. Fox, what do you have for me?
You made the job for the moderator really easy. Thank you, Mr. President, for your speech. I do have a few follow-up questions, if it's okay. Sure. I don't think I should start with Greenland, maybe. I'll start with the economy.
Oh, here. Hold on.
We probably...
All right. Insider News has highlights. Let's do this.
We won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But
if I did it, we'd be pretty friggin' unstoppable. You couldn't stop us. Because we're, if I decide to, I may not, but you won't stop me.
I won't do that.
But I won't. I'm being a little coy. I may do it, I may not. Who knows?
Okay, now everyone's saying, oh, good.
Jesus.
That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
This is crazy. I'm trying to come up with like allegorical comparisons. Because I'm all about allegory. Okay? So who's like... I don't know Marvel. I can't fucking use Marvel as an example. I know who Thanos is, but like I don't know what his shit is. Fucking Vader? Darth Vader? No, I don't want to use Darth Vader. Who's a supervillain? I need like some crazy supervillain. And he's being coy. He's like, I could do it, I could blow up the planet, but I don't wanna do it. Because I'm cool. Unless I'm not. Just kidding, everyone. You like me, right?
All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland.
It's just a little thing. It's like half as big as Canada, but it's just a little thing. It's what I want. I want a new toy. Guys, I deserve it. I deserve it. It's tiny. I just want it. Please. Please.
Already had it. We could have kept that piece of land, and we didn't, so.
The way he talks is like so middle school drama. Like, he used to be my boyfriend. He used to. And I think we deserve a second chance. That's how he talks.
They have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory, sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia.
He's fucking salivating at the description he's given. He's like, it's unprotected. Oh, it's unprotected. Ooh.
In China, that's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't it?
Oh, it's strategic. Oh, that sounds so good. They're saying no. Oh, he's sorry. I can't be doing that. I can only role play that so much before I catch myself being like, oh wait, hold on. He's weird. You're imitating how weird he is.
Important nearly when we gave it back. You know, when we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, you know, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth. No such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing, but there's so much rare earth. And to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It's the United States alone that can.
It's in the North American continent. That means it's mine. I know that they have something going on with Denmark, but it's over here. And that means it's mine. Mexico, Canada, it's all North America. And you know what's in North America? America. So it's mine. I get to have it. You don't. You're all the way in stinky Europe. Denmark. You stay over there. Greenland, it's my next door neighbor. That's mine.
Protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it, and
stop calling it a piece, dog. That sounds predatory. Peace. Stop it.
Move it and make it so that it's good for Europe and safe for Europe and good for us. And that's the reason I'm seeking immediate negotiations to once again discuss the acquisition of Greenland by the United States, just as we have acquired many other territories throughout our history, as many of the European nations have. They've acquired. There's nothing wrong with it. But this would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance, the NATO alliance. The United States is treated very unfairly by NATO. I want to tell you that. And when you think about it, nobody can dispute it. We give so much and we get so little in return. And I've been a critic of NATO for many years. And yet I've done more to help NATO than any other president by far, than any other person. You wouldn't have NATO if I didn't get involved in my first term.
I'm so generous. Ooh, it's unfair how generous I am. Fucking, I'm losing my mind watching him.
The United States was paying for virtually 100% of NATO. And I got that stopped. I said, that's not fair. But then more importantly, I got NATO to pay 5%, and now they were paying, and now they are paying. So something nobody said was possible. They said, we will never go up higher than 2%. But they went to 5%, and now they're paying the 5. They didn't pay the 2, and now they're paying the 5. And they're stronger for it, and they have an excellent, by the way, Secretary General, who's possibly in the room. Mark, are you here?
These are the big moments. He's like, Mark, are you here? Mark.
Yes, he's here. Hello, Mark.
Thank you. I'm here at the World Economic Forum. My buddy Mark, he's over there. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark.
Venezuela has been an amazing place for so many years, but then they went bad with their policies. 20 years ago, it was a great country, and now it's got problems, but we're helping them. And those 50 million barrels, we're going to be splitting up with them, and they'll be making more money than they've made in a long time. Venezuela is going to do fantastically well. We appreciate all of the cooperation we've been.
We appreciate your cooperation when we invaded, we stole, we abducted, we took him out of the country. The autonomous leader of a NATO nation, we took him. Thank you for your cooperation. It's been a wonderful time. So happy that you cooperated. I missed. Thank you.
We've been giving great cooperation. Once the attack ended, and they said, let's make a deal. More people should do that. But Venezuela is going to make more money in the next.
Who is that? Who is that over there? Who is that guy? Who is this? I'll be right there.
6 months than they've made in the last 20 years. Every major.
There goes my fun. All right. I'm losing my mind at this point. At this point, I'm just like yelling.
The oil companies coming in with us. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm done. I needed my fun. I needed to shit on Grandpa for a moment. Where is this? Yeah. Run it back. Okay. I think we talked about pretty much everything I wanted to get to today. We skipped over the fact that the United States has left the World Health Organization. Really didn't have time to kind of touch on that part. Fucking wild. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. We live in wild times. We live in interesting times. We live in crazy times. Let's before we call it a night. We did not look back at the first 3 weeks of 2026, which is fine. I kind of thought that the news of the kind of last few days would take the forefront of this stream. I'm hoping to regularly do stuff like this, if not bi-weekly, maybe just weekly. We can cover more as time goes on. I'm going to be taking clips of the stream and posting them on socials, and hopefully you can follow me on my socials. Right now, I only have my Twitter and my YouTube on my stream. I do have a TikTok. Please follow me on TikTok. We will, however, go over this little optimism point because it's important to be optimistic. So that's what we're going to do. Just for like a moment, I want to just kind of address you directly. Let's see. Oh, that's the monitor. I don't want to do that. Where's the camera? There we go. Camera. Oh, I can't expand it. There we go. Oh, just a hair too big. Too big, too big, too big. Oh. Okay. I hope you're doing well. Sincerely. I genuinely hope and sincerely mean I hope you're doing okay. Things have been rough for me, for sure. Not terrible. Life has been stabling out. For a while there, it was rather difficult and tumultuous, but that's kind of what happens when you commit an extreme act of protest against not just the United States government, but also the industry that you're employed in. And so for about a while, life was up and down. But I'm starting to get a sense of stability underneath my feet. I know that does not go for everyone. I know I am a very strange outlier in the fact that, like, life for me is okay, but I know it's not for everybody. There are still many people, both in this nation and across the world, who are struggling, especially because of the actions of the United States. I know a lot of people follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, who know me through my activism for Palestine. Shout outs. You guys, the people of Palestine give me so much hope and inspiration, and reassure me that there will be better days ahead, as long as we persevere. So it's important to keep persevering. The news cycle is tumultuous. Politics is tumultuous. And finding a healthy balance between everything takes immense strength. And I 100% advocate for finding a healthy balance. Do not overwhelm yourself with the news, with politics, with everything that happens every single day. You will go crazy if you do that. You will light your arm on fire in protest if you do something like that. And I don't recommend that. I do not recommend that at all. However, continue to remain informed. Knowledge is power. Having the knowledge to make decisions is vital to your well-being. So I will always advocate for having a healthy balance. It's why I'm going to be ending the stream only after having streamed for 2 hours, because I will only be awake for another 3 hours, maybe less. And it's important to me that I allow myself to unwind and appreciate the things I love, like gaming and music and whatever random hyperfixation that I happen to have at the moment. I hope that you invest yourself and give yourself permission to hyperfixate on the things that bring you joy and comfort and happiness. Things will be okay. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't you dare. Smile. Dance. Laugh. Sing. All of it. We smile during these times of immense difficulty, because if we don't smile, then you are relinquishing everything that you have to others and losing that freedom. If you smile through the pain, you're validating to yourself. I'm doing a very poor job of vocalizing this. If others would bring you down by allowing them to affect your happiness and joy, you are giving them that ability. But if you smile in the face of opposition, you are affirming to yourself that you are still in control and capable of your future and how you want that to look. Don't give up. Don't do it. Okay. I'm tired. I'm getting stupid. So, on that note, if you tuned in for any reason or watched this VOD, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. And join my Discord. I don't think I have links to that. I will have to eventually here make links to different forms of social and whatnot. I have not streamed in a minute. And by a minute, I mean like well over a year or so. I do think the last time I streamed was when I was like focusing on trying to work on my documentary, and that did not pan out, and that was many months ago. So I'm glad to be streaming again. I hope to do it weekly. We'll see what's in store in the near future. So thank you so much. And with that,